Welcome to Hidden History. I'm Victor, and I'm going to be talking about the origins of Valentine's Day, which is coming up very soon. Some of you may be buying gifts for your significant other, others may be celebrating the sad Singles Awareness Day, which my heart goes out to you. That's just life. But I thought that I could cheer everybody up by actually talking about the actual origins of Valentine's Day, which it was based on an ancient Roman pagan festival called Lupercalia. It was kind of a weird festival back in the day, guys. It was where they would literally sacrifice a goat and a dog for one, I think, was for purification. That was the dog, and the other one, goat, was for fertility. And they would literally strip down naked, run through the streets whipping women with little strips of the goat that they had sacrificed, tipped with blood, while running down the streets naked, whipping women for fertility, which would, a lot of women would actually want to be whipped with these blood-laden strips of goat because they wanted to have babies and they wanted to have an easy pregnancy, which is very odd, but that's our history. And it went around the dates between, historically, February 13th through the 16th, I think, 15th, something like that. So that was basically like the actual basic origins of like where the actual holiday comes from. So during this actual festival, the women would actually put their names into a giant pot, and the men would come and pick a name at random to kind of be paired off or coupled off during the whole festival. And if they liked one another, it resulted in a lot of people getting together. And if they didn't like one another, they could split ways, which was kind of a love festival way back then. Which kind of moves it along to why we get into the more modern times, which is the Catholic kind of version of Valentine's Day. And it really starts way back in the, I think it was the 3rd century, with a guy named the Emperor Claudius II, who literally imprisoned a priest who was going around actually marrying couples in secret, because the emperor at that time had literally placed people in jail for being married. He didn't want his soldiers to be distracted by women or anything like that back in the day, so he would have them placed, like he would literally put a ban on people getting married. But the priest saw that as unjust and unfair, and he would marry them in secret. However, the sad part about it is, he was caught, and he was imprisoned, and his name happened to be Valentine. So, while he was in prison, the lore goes that he was imprisoned there, and he fell in love with the jailer's daughter. He actually, as the lore goes, wrote a famous love note ending in, "From your Valentine," which, as the lore goes, that's kind of how we get the whole Valentine's Day notes, Valentine's Day cards, how that whole thing goes, like, all about. So, we move on to his actual execution, which was figured to be on the date February 14th. So, that's kind of where the date comes from. Now, later on, we kind of move along a few hundred years, I guess, and we go to the 5th century, where Pope Gelasius actually kind of consolidated all the different kind of pagan religions and Christian religions, and he wanted to kind of memorize all these different martyrs for Valentine's Day. And it was also from the pagan holiday, like I said, a long time ago, and he created St. Valentine's Day on February 14th way back in the day. So that's kind of a basic history of Valentine's Day. Now, Valentine's Day didn't really get romanticized until around Shakespeare's day and Chaucer's day, which was way later in Britain's history, or English history, or, you know, the European history. So that kind of bridged it along. And there's a lot of other lores that kind of go along with Valentine's Day. Like, in the Middle Ages, the French and English actually thought that February 14th was actually the beginning of the bird mating cycle, which, I know that's kind of weird, but it's kind of a really random tidbit that I wanted to kind of add to the love season thing. That's where we kind of get the whole birds and the bees love kind of season, I guess you would call it. And now I think we should talk about the actual, a little bit further in history. In the 1840s, there was actually a really cool lady by the name of Esther A. Howland, which back in the day everybody was handwriting Valentine's Day cards. So she got the really great idea in America to mass produce them on a really big scale, and I think that's really cool. Like, kind of a little tidbit of history that a woman actually was the first one to actually think of the idea to mass produce the Valentine's Day card. I think that's awesome. I mean, like, that's really cool. I really didn't know that while I was researching this and getting ready for the video, and I think that's a really cool thing to think about. And I would just like to say that Valentine's Day cards, besides Christmas cards, are the second most sold cards in all of the, seasons. So that's a really big deal, actually, because cards are a big deal during the holiday seasons. Everybody likes Christmas cards, everybody likes Valentine's Day cards, and so Valentine's Day is actually the second most sold cards during that season, and that's really awesome. So, with that fact, I would just like to say that I hope you guys really enjoyed this whole video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about all of this, or Valentine's Day's origin. And if I don't have every fact right, please let me know in the comments below, because I'd like to know more, because that's history in general. I think that's really cool, because I actually got my degree in history, and I really like to share history with everybody else, because I think it's really cool and fun facts to know for everybody. But like I said, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this video, and I will see you guys next time on the next episode of Hidden History.